The quest to make snake bites less lethal. Hi there, everyone. It's Jeff, and this is Plain English, episode number 818 on Monday, November 17th, 2025. Hey, I should have made this one a few weeks ago for Halloween because this is scary. Today, we're talking about snake bites. More specifically, we're talking about new research that will help make snake bites less deadly. Why are we talking about snakes on an English learning podcast? Because every episode is about a story, something interesting going on in the world. And it's with these stories that you learn words that you might not otherwise hear in English. Words like, today, venom and antivenom. And if you're ever confused about a word, you can check out the transcript at plainenglish.com/818. You can also see instant translations of the hardest words and phrases from English to 9 other languages. And yes, we did highlight antivenom and nanobodies and all the other hard scientific words from today's episode. Elapids, vipers, and more. So check that out at plainenglish.com/818. Before we start today's story, I'd just like to remind you that the podcast is just one part of how we can help you upgrade your English skills. At plainenglish.com, you can make faster progress with active learning strategies. You can take quizzes, do activities, listen to the fast version of the audio, watch video workshops, practice what you learn, and even join a live call with JR and me. It's all about helping you build your skills to become a better, more confident English speaker. Sound good? Go to plainenglish.com to start your free 14-day trial today. Now, let's jump into today's story. If you're ever bitten by a poisonous snake, you have an important job to do. You have to get a good look at the snake. Because at the hospital, the first thing they'll ask is what kind of snake bit you. They need to know that so they can give you the right antivenom. You see, every snake species has a slightly different type of venom. It attacks your body in slightly different ways. So each type of snake venom has its own type of antivenom. Snake bites are a real problem. Over 100,000 people die from venomous snake bites each year. Hundreds of thousands more suffer amputation or permanent disability. But treatments for venomous snake bites have barely changed in a century. Here's how it works. First, live snakes have to be milked. A trained handler has to get the venom out of a snake. Then, the venom is injected into a large animal, like a horse. A horse is big enough to survive a small dose of snake venom. Its blood produces antibodies. Those antibodies are then collected and made into an antivenom shot. So the shot given to a patient in the hospital is derived from a horse's blood, rich in antibodies for a specific snake's venom. This whole process is generally effective, but there are several problems. For one thing, not everyone's body reacts well to horse blood. For another, it's labor-intensive. The antivenom is created from a live horse. It's not created in a lab or a factory. And finally, most importantly, there are many types of poisonous snakes. They all have a different venom, so they all have a different antivenom. When a bite victim goes to the hospital, the doctors need to know what type of snake it was so they can deliver the right shot. And the hospital has to have that type of antivenom available. Oh, and horse-based antivenom has to be refrigerated. It also has a short shelf life, so there's a lot of waste. All this means a lot can go wrong. The victim might not know what kind of snake bit him. Even if he does, the hospital might not have the right kind of antivenom available, and the shot might cause complications for the patient. But two different teams of researchers are aiming to improve the treatment of poisonous snake bites. They're both trying to make a generalized antivenom shot that can protect against a wide variety of snake venoms. A team from Denmark injected snake venom into llamas and alpacas. These animals are unique because they produce nanobodies, which are small parts of antibodies that neutralize toxins. The test animals produced over 3,000 nanobodies in response to the venom shots. Researchers selected 8 that did the most work against the widest variety of venoms. They then created a single antivenom out of those nanobodies and tested it on mice. The new antivenom protected against 17 of 18 deadly venoms, either fully or mostly, depending on the test. The cocktail outperformed the commercially available antivenom on all but one type of snake. There is more promising news. This approach uses the nanobodies from llamas and alpacas. These nanobodies can be produced in a lab and frozen. That will be helpful in many remote areas with dangerous snakes. Another group of scientists hit the scientific jackpot. A man from the U.S. state of Wisconsin has voluntarily let poisonous snakes bite him. He personally, not part of any study, not part of any company, just acting on his own, he wanted to see if he could develop immunity to snake bites. So over 25 years, he has been bitten by poisonous snakes over 200 times. And yes, he survived. When the drug company Centevax found out about him, they knew they needed to study his blood. No drug company or scientific group could ever experiment on humans this way. But here was someone who had a fascination with snakes and a long history of snake bites. Through painful experience and one coma, his body has built up a library of antibodies against dozens of snake toxins. Scientists at Centevax used his blood to find certain antibodies that neutralize multiple types of snake venom. The antivenom they created was effective against 13 types of poisonous snakes, with partial effectiveness against 6 more based on animal testing. This is all unquestionably good news, but there are some hurdles. For one thing, there are 2 families of snakes, elapids and vipers. Elapids include the black mamba the Cape cobra, the coral snake, and many other terrifying species. Their venom attacks the nervous system, and it's these types of snakes that are being studied. But there is a second family of snakes, vipers. Their venom attacks the blood, and this type of venom was not included in the recent studies. Second, the recent breakthroughs are all based on animal studies in a lab. Future studies have to evaluate the treatments in other animals and in humans. That can take years. But for the first time, scientists are moving away from a region-by-region, species-by-species approach to treating snake bites. A universal antivenom would bring significant benefits. Hospitals wouldn't have to identify the snake species before administering treatment, and antivenom could be mass-produced and stockpiled like other modern medicines. Thousands of lives and limbs could be saved each year. So I was curious about the process of milking a snake, getting the venom out, and that's what it's called, milking a snake. There are snake farms, and at these farms, a trained handler grabs a snake behind the head and gets him to bite a soft surface stretched over a glass container. When the snake bites down, the venom flows out through its fangs and drips into the cup. Each bite doesn't produce much venom. I mean, it's enough to kill a person, but it doesn't fill a jar. And each snake can only be milked once every couple of weeks. So that's one bite, just a few drops at a time. Now, as you can imagine, these farms keep hundreds or even thousands of snakes from many species. And snake milkers, that's the job title, snake milkers. They go snake by snake, collecting venom samples. Those samples are used to make antivenom and in scientific research. Some of the largest snake farms are in Florida, the Mexican state of Veracruz, and in Thailand. So are you officially creeped out yet? Can you imagine what a snake farm looks like? 1,000 snakes in a farm, and they go one by one milking the venom out. Oh man, that is the stuff of nightmares. All right, that's all for today's Plain English. I hope you're not listening in bed because you might not be able to fall asleep tonight. This was episode number 818, so you can find the quiz, listening exercise, pronunciation exercise, grammar exercises, all that stuff at plainenglish.com/818. We'll be back on Thursday with a new topic. I promise it's going to be safe and won't give you nightmares. See you then. Before we start today's story, I'd just like to remind you that the podcast is just one part of how we can help you upgrade your English skills. At plainenglish.com, you can make faster progress with active learning strategies. You can take quizzes, do activities, listen to the fast version of the audio, watch video workshops, practice what you learn, and even join a live call with JR and me. It's all about helping you build your skills to become a better, more confident English speaker. Sound good? Go to plainenglish.com to start your free 14-day trial today. Now, let's jump into today's story.